Hello and thanks for tuning in. In this video, I'm going to go over 5 unconventional uses for AutoCAD. Note that in this video I'm using GStarCAD. It's a AutoCAD clone more or less. But the tips in this video, they're going to apply to AutoCAD, AutoCAD clones, or any other similar program. So the first use, unconventional use for AutoCAD I'm going to show you is using AutoCAD as a word processor. So what I have in front of me here is a quantity sheet. And I've made this in Word. It was a pain in the butt. I've made it in MS Excel. It was a pain in the butt. I found when I did this in AutoCAD, it was quite easy. And right on the right here, I have it attached as a PDF. So this, I find that it's just quicker to array, offset. I can get my line weights, my colors using the CTB file and screening just exactly how I want them. I can get my row widths, my column widths, exactly like I want them. And I have the option to measure stuff on the fly, right? So I can figure out how wide my rows are, compare it to my writing style. So if you're wondering what this is, it's a quantity sheet for estimating. I won't get too far into explaining it, but you know, as you have a construction project, you'll look at your plans and then you'll see how much quantity of, say, concrete you have, reinforcing, and you just manually write it on here. So this is something I'd print off and write on it with pen or pencil in real life there. So that leads me into the next use for AutoCAD, and that would be marking up PDFs. So once you attach your PDF, you can start drawing on it. And since I have some macro here, I'm going to see if I remember it. So I have a way to quickly create revision clouds, revision text. I used to have a quick way to add like splines and leaders. I don't have that going right now. But just so you get an idea here, I'll just show you how I typically do a markup. I'll take a window of that. And as you can see, I'm having some graphical glitches, and that's one issue I'm experiencing with GStarCAD is that the draw order and printing PDFs doesn't work too well. But AutoCAD itself, and I noticed that BricsCAD has very good PDF compatibility. So keep that in mind. Some of the stuff I go over in this video, I know it contradicts what I said earlier, but GStarCAD might not be the best program for some of these tasks, at least the 2020 release. But anyway, so you now have a way to mark up your PDFs, and I feel like if my program's working correctly and my macros set up the way I want it, I can do this much faster than I can in say Bluebeam. So that's going to save you some time and money right there, because a lot of these AutoCAD clones are actually cheaper than Bluebeam. Okay, so my next usage is printing PDFs. So I have a little rectangle here, just on a no plot layer. That's it should be a 8.5 wide, 11 high. And I have this PDF drawing I've attached, and the scale of this PDF drawing is 1/8 of an inch equals 1 foot 0, or 1:96. So I'm going to scale this 96. And what I'm doing here is that oftentimes when I do field work, I just want to bring a little letter size sheet, an standard 8.5 by 11 inch size sheet to the work site. And I only need a certain portion of the drawing, right? So I found that with most PDF programs, I gotta dink around with it quite a bit before I can get this rectangle exactly where I want it. But with this, all I have to do is make that rectangle. I know my scales quite well. That's how I know how to scale at 96. I make sure I know the scale of my drawing. So what I'll do is I'll just go back to my print dialog, window. Now I got it set to fit to paper, but if I wanted it scaled, it is scaled because I made sure I scaled everything diligently, but I'll just go to 1/8 equals 1 foot 0, apply to layout. We'll do a preview, and then I'll get exactly the rectangle of the drawing that'll fit perfectly, more or less, on an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So I'll get all the info that I need on my little sheet. I can bring that to the site. I can laminate it if it's raining or whatever. So I guess the third thing is it's very easy once you attach your PDFs to load them into your CAD program. So since I went over this quantity sheet for estimating, I'll give you the fourth thing I wanted to cover is construction estimating. So when you're in your CAD program, when you do rectangles, which is a polyline, or an actual polyline with more than 4 segments, you can get the area of it. And it'll always appear in your properties, right? Area, 30 square feet. It gives you the length as well. So let's say you had like conduits or something. You're a mechanical estimator. You can just trace out your conduits. Now you have the length of them. So this is very similar functionality to much more expensive estimating programs. So some of those estimating programs, I looked at the price of them, and some of them charge $5,000 per year, and that can be quite a lot for a small office. So when I do estimating in AutoCAD, I tend to attach one PDF page per file, and that helps with alleviate slowdown, things like that. And I have a lot of control, a lot of flexibility over how I estimate, how I leverage my PDF documents. Of course, I can make sure they're scaled. I can just maybe check a wall or something. So I find that if I get my AutoCAD set up, or AutoCAD alternative program set up the way I want it, I can estimate virtually as fast as those really expensive programs, sometimes faster. I'd say I'd probably go with my own custom Excel spreadsheet. And it does take a little bit of time to set it up, but quite honestly, those estimating programs, they take a bit of effort, and yeah, they take a bit of effort to learn. They're not there's no simple solution, right? So I just find this works for me. I'm as productive as any estimating software I've ever used, using a CAD program in combination with Excel to do my estimating. So the last little thing I'll show you here is that you see I got all these rebars here, right? So if I draw them out, if I actually took the time to draw this mat as it would look in real life, let's say I space these, I could just do an array, right? But I can use something called select similar. I have a command set for the SS, and you can get every line on that layer. And if I had a Lisp routine or something, I could use that to get all the links all at once, right? So you can do that with anything, with circles, with blocks. If you have a certain type of block, and you do the select similar, it'll select all those blocks. They give you the quantity of them. So there's all these, I won't get into it much further, but there's all these tricks and tips you can use to leverage your AutoCAD program in a way that will make it a very versatile construction estimating program. So that's one thing to consider. You can save yourself a lot of time, a lot of money by using AutoCAD as your estimating software. So the last thing I'm going to show you, and I'm going to be very brief with this, is that I use my AutoCAD as a simple graphic design program. So I'll just show you what these look like. Just going to put a window around here. Fit to paper. Let's do a preview. Hopefully that works. So you can see I have colors in this. The way I do that is that I override the color of the element to a true color value, and I'll show you how I do that in just a second. So since I'm using G*CAD, you can see sometimes the draw order gets a little funny. You can see that my hatch is bleeding out in front of my line work. The way I fix that actually, and I'll show you that quick in case you're a G*CAD user, I'll send that to the back. Just gonna make that a block. I'm gonna go back to preview. Hopefully that fixed it. Oops, I didn't save my print layout, unfortunately. So let's do that window. So I find with the draw order in G*CAD, if I make things a block, it retains the draw order very well. But if it's not a block, sometimes the draw order gets all crossed up. So as you see, I got some simple graphical objects here. I use this pylon, actually use that for marking stuff up. I have a logo, just a generic logo here. So I have the colors coming through and everything. So I'll show you quickly how I make these. Let's go into the block editor. And you see I have everything hopefully is on layer 0, but I have the color overridden to a true color value. So you have your index colors here, and let's say you wanted wanted it to be red, you go to true color. Don't save that as 10, just nudge this. I'm sure there's better ways to do this as well, but if we just get it perfect or do a 255 0, that should do a color override to, I guess, pure red. So close the block editor. Let's see if that worked for us. Oh, and I didn't save my my print preview again, or my print settings, sorry. Window, let's do this. Apply to layout, I always forget to click that. Yeah, so you can see now that overrid to a more like a darker red color. So yeah, you can use your AutoCAD program as a simple graphic design program. If you're doing more complex graphics, I do not recommend using your CAD program for that. But just like logos, doing a logo up in CAD, there's advantages because it's not an attached image, and it can sometimes it can speed up your drawing. Sometimes it doesn't matter. But I like doing my logos, making them in CAD, just so it's, you know, my title block doesn't rely on a X reference and so on. So anyways, those are 5 unconventional uses for AutoCAD. I hope this this video helps you save some time, some money, or was helpful in one way or another. Thanks a lot for watching.